How are you, Jose?
All good.
This
All
is a
good.
thrill for me. I'm such a big fan of yours. I always have been, which is odd.
I can't
given I'm a
believe.
West Ham fan.
I can't believe. You have to be a fan of David Moyes.
Oh, Moisés. I mean, you know, he's incredible.
Congrats,
he's incredible.
Congratulations to you. Very good
He's
season.
absolutely amazing. He's brilliant. Where are you in the world right now,
London.
Jose? You're in London?
London.
Where do you consider London home?
I would say so. I would say so. Of course, Portugal is Portugal, and Portugal is home. But we live in London for so many years, and I would say London is base.
So London's base. So do you already know where you're going to live in Roma?
Not yet. Not yet.
You don't know where you'll be?
No, too early for that. I only start in July. The league in Italy starts even later than in the Premier League. Plenty of time to go and to think about it. And when I go immediately to pre-season. So I would say that even the first 2-3 weeks of work, I will be with the team or traveling or doing pre-season. And I'm not even worried about that. I'm just happy to go and to work.
Are you excited for this new chapter?
I am. I felt a very good connection, very good empathy with the people, with the owners. The way they approached me, and the conversation that we had, I really liked. And it's not just about the feeling of working for them, is also the feeling of working with them, which is something that I really liked in the way the Friedkin family approached me.
So how much of your day at the moment is spent thinking about how you want to improve that squad?
Yeah, now is this, this Zoom situation that was not brought to the world, but brought to the day by day of so many people in the COVID time, made things very, very easy because I like to see people. I like to feel people. I just don't like the traditional phone call and speaking with people in Rome, or in the owner's case, sometimes they are in Texas. I spend hours with different people from the club, from different departments, and trying to be organizing things, because there is a lot of work to do.
Well, because obviously all football fans got to see your reaction to the first lockdown, to when COVID hit, when you were at Tottenham in the All or Nothing, the documentary. Can I ask a cheeky question? When you got offered the Tottenham job, was it made clear to you in your contract that these cameras were going to be everywhere, and there'd be cameras in your office, and there was nothing you could do about it, and it would be a deal breaker?
Yeah, I was informed about it. And I gave them my opinion, which was basically disturbs the work. No doubts that disturbed the work, but would be a good thing for the club, would be a good thing for football. I believe that in football we still have this thing on us of indoors, dressing rooms, half times, team talks. This is kind of a sacred place where nobody can go apart of us. I disagree with that. I think football is something that people loves it so much. And I had myself the experience of watching, for example, the Formula One, which is a sport that I love, the Formula One series, and you fell more in love than you were before by knowing a lot of it. So I felt, and I told the club, for me, that's fine. I will just try to adapt to it. I will just try to be myself and not to be worried about the cameras or the microphones hidden everywhere. And after a couple of months, you get adapted to it. So not at all, was not a problem for me.
because I found the level of access extraordinary in the Tottenham documentary, and I, reading between the lines, just purely as a viewer, as a fan of any sports documentary. I mean, like, I think the Formula One show is a masterpiece. I think Sunderland Till I Die is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think the All or Nothing, even the NFL All or Nothings, I enjoy watching, because you're watching people at the absolute peak of their abilities. But my feeling was that I felt, and did you know this, that I felt watching it that Pochettino did not want those cameras there. He only spoke on it twice, I think. Like, did you know that when you went in, that may have been an issue?
No, not at all.
Sure.
Was something done, and was not even for me to ask why or how. Was just to be ready for what was coming. And before I was coming, the club was always trying to be as open as possible about what was coming. And one of the things that was immediately mentioned was exactly the documentary. And as I was saying to you, disturb a little bit, but I think the positives were much more important than. And that's it. Basically, was this.
I've always felt, watching your career, which of course has just been so, it's been so incredible to watch, like any football, like when I think back to like the Porto Liverpool game, and you're running down the touchline, to then joining Chelsea in the special one, to then Inter Milan, which I think the way that you talk about leaving Inter Milan and going to Madrid, and the tears and the crying with players, it's everything that I think football fans want. It's why I think, however many football fans might say that they don't like you when you're the manager of a certain team, I think all football fans love Jose Mourinho because you've given us great moments, always. I've always felt like you've always known deep down when something is going to work. And then I think you've always figured out quite quickly, like, okay, this isn't going to work in the long term. Like, I felt like when you were at Man United, when you started the pre-season, when we were filming, you were here in LA, you were on a pre-season tour with the Man United team. We shot something for my show, and I could be wrong, but I had an absolute feeling inside me that you felt that pre-season, this isn't going to end well this season. Would that be right?
I have a good experience, of course, and I analyze a lot, and I go through the details, and I go through little things that sometimes altogether they make big things, and they give me normally a good idea of how things are going to end. No doubts about it.
Do you mean in terms of you wanted more players? Because I remember you saying to me, you were like, I don't have any players. And I was like, and I remember saying to you, you've got this, and you were like, it's not enough.
I'm very optimistic, but at the same time, I'm very realistic, and the experience at Tottenham taught me to be realistic and to find a balance between optimism and being realistic. And when we did that with Manchester United by winning Europa League and also Domestic Cup, and I felt that for the next step that was not going to be enough. And
Right.
The reality is that since then, even with a different investment, a different stability, a different perception that somebody is doing an amazing work to give a different perception, what happened was nothing happened. Because, for example, this season when people were saying, great season, finish second. I did finish second, and it was a bad season.
Why is that? Why is that? Why do you think? Because you finished second, you won the Europa League, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you finished second, win the Europa League, and it
Bad
was a bad
season, yeah.
this season,
Finish
Solskjaer
second, finish second, runner up in the Europa League, not just
But
winning.
there's a feeling of progress and all these things. Why is
Progress.
that, do you think?
Perception, good work, good investment in media work, and Ole has more friends in the media than I have in England. And what for me becomes bad for him is great. And I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I like Manchester United. I like lots of the people there. The fans, they were amazing with me during my time. The club is full of very nice people that loves the club and loves to work there. I'm more than happy with that. I'm more than happy that this season that ended once more without trophies is considered positive and new investment and stability for the future. And I think they will do that until the trophies will come back. I'm more than happy with that. No jealousy about it, but just the feeling of with me the level of expectation or the level of pressure coming from media is completely different, but that's no problem for me.
But some of that pressure you bring on yourself. In press conferences, you talk about you know what I mean. The trophies that you win when you see press conferences and you say three. You know what I mean.
But has reactions.
No,
in a reactive way. It's not like. Is not in a proactive way where I arrive in a press conference and I say 3 or I say 5. No, it normally comes has a reaction of something. So if you want me to be proactive now, you can ask me, how many trophies did you win in your career? And I tell you, 25 and a half.
What's the half?
The half is the final that I didn't play with Tottenham.
Now, explain that to me. Were you disappointed that you didn't get to manage in that final? And do you think you would have won it? And why do you think they let you go?
A final is a dream for everybody. You ask Sir Alex that played, I don't know, 50 finals. You ask Pep. You ask the guys that played lots of finals, and everybody will tell you to play a final is a dream. And doesn't matter if it is the first final or the final number 20 or 50. A final is always a dream. A Wembley final is more than a dream. I played the first on the new Wembley, and every time I go there is more than a dream. And to have a chance to win a trophy with a club that doesn't have many, of course, was a double dream. I'm the kind of guy that when I close the door of a club, I move and I just wish good to people. But in a funny way, I would say I have 25 and a half titles because I think it's something that marks my career, which is not to play a final that I won the right to go there.
You never thought, just let me manage the final, win the trophy, and then I'll leave as a winner?
No. It's not for me to make that decision.
See, that's why. I think that would have been the greatest move you could have done. This is my last game, guys. We're going to win this trophy. They're all throwing you up in the air. You walk out.
No, and people to say now that we would win that final would be silly
Sure.
But the reality is that we played 3 times against City, and we won twice.
Did you enjoy managing Harry Kane? It
Yeah.
felt like you got on very well from what I saw in that documentary.
I did enjoy very much. I did enjoy the fact that he won the Gold Boot again, or I don't think it's the first time, I don't know. But to win the Gold Boot, to win the award for the more assists for him and Son, to beat the records of more assists to each other, more combined actions for each other. I love very much to work with him by the individual point of view, but I also enjoyed very, very much this partnership between these two very good players was something really fantastic.
I mean, you've managed some of the best players of their generations. Do you understand the ambitions, the ambition that's clearly within Harry Kane, where he feels like he knows absolutely how good he is and knows what he wants to achieve in his career, and that he has a finite amount of time to try and do that? Do you see that ambition in him that you've seen in Zlatan and Ronaldo and players like that?
Yeah, but when I work with these guys were winning titles. Of course, these kind of guys, they get addicted to it because it's something that motivates us. We are not speaking anymore at this level about one more pound or one less pound, because at this level everybody has pounds. Is about legacy, and you can argue about what is legacy in football. What is that legacy in football? Legacy in football, in a very pragmatic way, is what did you win? So when you feel that you are a top manager or a top coach or a top assistant coach or a top player in this case, is going to end always on that. Legacy is about medals. So I believe that all these top players, they have this feeling of I want to win. But who knows that in 5 weeks Harry is not an European champion?
Well, we'll get to the Euros in a minute. I'm certain you won't answer this, but I'll ask it anyway. Where do you think Harry Kane should play his football next year? Where do you think would suit him best as a player?
I think he has to play where he's happy. And I think he's happy in England. I had an experience with Chelsea, with Peter Cech and with Abramovich, that I of course I never forget, because normally I never forget any detail. But I wanted to bring Courtois to Chelsea. Peter was after 30s, Courtois was early 20s. Courtois was on loan in Atletico Madrid. If I'm not coming back to Chelsea, I won't definitely transfer to Atletico or to any other club. I don't want to be on loan anymore. So on this situation, I made the decision of next season is for Courtois. I spoke with Peter. I explained the situation, and Peter decided to stay. So he stayed for a season, and during that season he played lots of matches. We won the title. Courtois was injured. Peter played, and I even gave Peter a cup final where he won another trophy playing at Wembley with Chelsea. But then the next season, Peter wanted to leave. I'm still young, I'm still great, I want to leave. And I told the club, leave, but not in England, because he's too good to go to an opponent in English football. Make contacts, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Barcelona, but not in England. Peter wanted England, wanted London, and wanted Arsenal. And I went against it with everything I could, until Mr. Abramovich told he has the right to be happy. So he goes to Arsenal. And in that moment I was not happy, but then I understood. The guy gave everything to the club. The guy had always an open door to be back one day, and in fact is back to the club. But in that moment, the guy wants to go to Arsenal. And he did go. And I learned with Abramovich in that moment that sometimes these human values, they mean.
That was a wonderful way of ignoring where you think Harry Kane should go and play football.
Yeah. I told you, in England, because I know is just a very, very Premier League guy.
Well, no, I think that seems to be what he said, because I think he could be the Premier League's all-time top scorer. If he
Of
stays
course.
in the league, arguably
Of course.
he will be. Let's talk about the Euros. Are you excited for the European Championships?
I am. I'm always excited with football. We are now in a period where for 15 days we have just friendly football, a part of some Euros under 21s and some qualification matches in South America and Africa. So let's say that in Europe in this moment we have a 2 weeks break, and honestly I'm a bit lost. I'm a bit empty. I don't know what to do after dinner. I don't know what to do, doing zapping and no proper football. So I always look forward for proper football, and the Euros of course is proper football. So the wait is very, very short. The Euros are coming, football is coming, and let's see if football is coming home too.
How do you rate England's chances?
They can win it.
Really?
Yeah, I think they can win it. I would say that I only see France has an incredible squad of players, and a part of that, I don't see one team that is much better than others. I see a group of 5, 6 nations, very balanced, and England is one of them. So fantastic young players, good experience. The coaching staff is with the team for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. They played already a World Cup. They played already competitions together. So experience, playing at home, the group phase, playing at home, semi-finals and finals, if I'm not wrong, semi-finals also at Wembley.
Right. Yeah.
Is almost like being a Euro in England. For them, it is an Euro in England, basically. I think they have everything. I think they have everything to do it.
Have you ever been offered? You must have been offered international management jobs.
England.
When?
2008, when I left Chelsea the first time.
So you got offered the England job. Did you ever consider it? Was it ever something you thought about?
I did, but I realized that was too early for me. Yeah, I think it's too early now, and we are in 2021. Imagine in 2008, with all the fire I have, working every day, playing every day. It's too early. Was too early. It's too early now. Was too early then. And I had Portugal in 2012, 13, something like that, when I was in Real Madrid, and was a crazy offer of a part-time job that in quite a silly, naive way I wanted to accept, because I was saying, when the national teams play, I don't have players at the club, because all my players, they go away.
Sure.
But then I realized, speaking with the president of Real, I realized that was really silly to do that. It's such a big job to be a top club coach that you cannot do a part-time with even your nation. So it's something for later. Something will happen later, because it's the kind of job that one day I think I will enjoy.
I mean, you just said then you don't know what to do with yourself because there isn't football on. You don't know what to do. What sort of stuff do you do to keep you entertained? What TV shows are you watching at the moment?
I'm a very complicated guy, because I'm totally absorbed by sports. If you tell me one of your shows, would I watch it? Of course, yes. And there are talented guys.
Don't lie.
No, it's true. There are talented guys all over the world that I enjoy to watch programs. I can watch a TV series, but of course, I'm on news all the time. Even when I'm working, news is something that belong a lot to my day by day. But I love sports, and I will be addicted to the Olympics, where of course we are speaking about every sport. But I'm very addicted to Formula One. I'm very addicted to tennis. There is only one sport that I still don't understand it, and which is cricket. And when I was working I was working for, because I gave him everything I had. When I was working for Sir Bobby Robson, I was admired of how much he loved the game, and I couldn't understand how much he loved the game because I couldn't even understand the game. And after 25 or 30 years, I still don't understand the game.
I love any time I see you talk about Sir Bobby Robson and how he was clearly such a mentor to you. Do you consider yourself a mentor to anybody else? Are there any young managers or players that you keep in touch with that ask you for advice?
More than a mentor, I am an agent without commission, because I get so many jobs to so many friends, and even sometimes not close friends. But I love.
Like what? What kind of thing? Give me an example.
Lots of people, they call me. Lots of people calls me. Lots of clubs, they call me. Middle East, South America, Africa. People wants advice. People asks opinions, and I'm so happy when I manage to help people. I'm really happy when I manage to help people. Being a mentor, I don't try to be the mentor of anyone. If somebody believes that I can help, if somebody believes that I deserve to be studied, and that way influencing young guys' career, I'm more than happy with that. During my career, I had lots of different assistants, some belonging really to my staff, other belonging to the clubs, and then getting into my staff. If in any way I manage to influence these guys, I'm more than happy with that. But I don't try to be the mentor of anyone.
It's amazing that many clubs and people, that it's that far-reaching on the entire globe, that the people would be calling you all the time. Did Real Madrid call you last week?
I speak with Real Madrid all the time.
Why?
Because we are good friends. The president, the CEO, we are close friends. We speak with each other for so many times. I don't say every week. I don't say, of course, every day. But we have a very good relation. It's something that I'm really proud of, is that every club that I left, almost every club that I left, I have a very good and close relation with the people that I've worked with. And Real Madrid is one of these examples. I am very good friend with them, and every time they are successful, I'm so happy, because in the end, you become part of the family when you spend a few years in one football club.
Did you know about the European Super League before we did?
Yeah.
I
had no idea about the process. I had no idea about, let's say, the day one of making public. I didn't know at all, but I knew that the project was in the kitchen, and one day would come out.
Were you surprised by how quickly it fell apart?
I was surprised, yeah. I knew that a reaction, of course, would be coming. I knew, of course, that reaction would come, let's say, first from the authorities, football authorities, political authorities. but the way the anonymous supporter in the streets in some countries in a more emotional way than others, but the way people showed that they really feel that football belongs to them, or them belong to football, or they own football. The way people reacted was incredible, was amazing, was even, I believe, emotional. Before I am a football professional, I am a football lover, and as a football lover, I got emotional with the reaction of the world, a kind of reaction that was incredible, was fantastic. Really touched by that.
I mean, if you'd have been at Tottenham at the time when it happened, or at Chelsea or at Manchester United, if any of those chief executives had come to you and said, "This is the league, we're going to enter it," would you have said, "Guys, I think this is a PR disaster"?
But I don't think we have power in any club in this moment. I would be very, very surprised if any coach in this moment has. We have power in relation to our opinion. We can have an opinion. We can think. We can disagree. Internally, we can disagree with the clubs, but there is no power from our side anymore. The old-fashioned football manager with lots of power in the club, I think it disappears. If not 100%, it disappeared for the majority of the cases.
I think I'm nostalgic for that sort of manager, and maybe because I'm a West Ham fan and David Moyes is with us, and I really feel like we're at a place where he's going to, hopefully, touch wood, just keep growing the club in the truest and most organic sense. Do you think it's a shame that the role of the manager has changed, and that even now you would be called a coach and you wouldn't manage every facet of the club, like it sort of felt like perhaps when you came in at Chelsea that you were ingrained in every corner of the club?
I would say that if we stay stuck on that and we ignore what technology, modernity in the structures, I think we would be not being smart.
Right.
I believe that there are in this moment things in our hands that we didn't have before, and I used to say that, as an example, I am a bad scout. Why I am a bad scout? I am a bad scout because when I'm coaching, I don't have time to scout. I can scout, I can analyze the players that I see every week, the players of my league, the players that I play against, the players that I analyze before I play against them. But then, how can I be a good scout of other leagues that I'm not following it? So to have the chief scout, the head of scouts, or the scouts, or artificial intelligence giving us incredible data and incredible conditions to compare players and to try to introduce players in our football ideas. If we ignore these, that's not a good thing, as an example. So the way structures moved, I don't think is bad at all. I don't think is bad the technical director or the sports director. I don't think is bad the head of scout. I don't think is bad at all. What I think is bad is what football managers don't have in this moment, in the majority of the cases, which is control over these structures. And that is the problem.
Going back to the Euros, obviously England historically haven't always had great fortune when it's come to penalty shootouts. We did in the last World Cup.
That's over.
Well, I hope so, but I'm interested to know, from a manager's point of view, you've been in those situations. What do you say to your players? What do you think Gareth Southgate should say to an England team when you've got your five What's
Do you know my
last thing-
record? Do you know my record on penalties shootouts? No.
I don't. Go on.
You don't. Because if you know, you understand that I cannot give advice to anybody.
Oh, is it bad?
Look, I lost 2 semi-finals Champions League on penalties.
Oh, yes, of course.
I lost Real Madrid, Bayern Munich on penalties. I lost Liverpool, Chelsea on penalties, both semi-finals.
Okay, so what did you say? And then Gareth Southgate can say the opposite of that.
Look, I trust players. And when I trust players over my feelings, it didn't work. For example, I had on that Chelsea-Liverpool, I had the list of the players to take, and one of the players was not in the list. And he come to me in the middle of Anfield, and he told me, am I the first, the second, the third, the fourth, or the fifth? You are the 6th or the 7th, but not on the top 5. No, I want to go because 100% I score. When he told me that, I thought, come on, now you choose which one you want to take. He took, but he missed.
Wow.
But he missed. I had also European Super Cup. An European Super Cup was in Prague, Chelsea, Bayern, and again, the guy that missed, he shouldn't take, but he told me I want to take. So every time I trust the guys, I missed. And the last time I won was this season, Tottenham-Chelsea. And we went to penalties, and happened the same to me, and I refused. I told the player, yeah.
You said, no, these are the 5.
Yes. I told these are the 5s, and this is the order. But I think with England, they don't need my advice now. The mental wall is already broken. It's totally broken. They won it the last time. So I'm with them. I don't support them more because I have to support Portugal more than them. But I support them. I support them, and I trust them. I believe in them.
I do think that is a great bit of advice for Gareth Southgate, though. I really do. All right, Jose, to finish up, we're going to do a quick fire round, okay? Just some quick fire questions, and you just got to answer like just the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
That's right.
Who's the best player you've never coached?
Messi.
What's the best game you've been part of as a manager? The best match?
I have to say Benfica Porto.
Why?
Because means for us Portuguese everything that we football crazy guys we love. Everything is there. It's tribal, is north against south, is capital against the north, is tradition, is past, is the match that as a kid you follow and then you play it. So for me, Porto, Benfica, Porto are my matches.
Okay, favorite food?
Favorite food? Is incredible because I am from a fisherman city, but I am a meat guy. My beef medium well with a great tag with amazing chips is still my meal.
All right. Favorite song?
Favorite song? I wouldn't say favorite song, but I would say favorite generation, favorite style. I am very, very Bryan Adams, Bruce Springsteen, U2. I'm very, very much in that generation.
Favorite place?
Setúbal, my city.
Favorite thing to do on a day off?
I don't have day offs.
Really?
No day offs. And no 100% holiday. There is not one day where I can just disconnect from football, disconnect the telephone, ignore a phone call, ignore a contact from the club. There is not, I don't remember a one day off. I don't remember.
And now, finally, be honest, and this is what I've always felt. Everything you've achieved in your career, 25 and a half cups.
That's very
countless
important.
finals,
That's very important. And a half.
Biggest clubs in the world. Do you feel with every move you're getting closer to your dream as a football manager, which is to manage West Ham United? Do you feel you'll be ready at some point?
Is not my dream. Is not my dream. But
because it's so far out of reach, you can't even dream about it. I get it.
Maybe. I am not a club man. That's clear. I am not a club man. I am a guy of many clubs. I am a guy that loves my job. I am a guy that loves my club. I have a guy that dedicates my life to my club. But my club, since I was a young kid, my club was my dad's club, where he was working, and become my club when I'm working.
Jose, I cannot tell you what a thrill it is just to sit and talk to you for this amount of time. My admiration for you grows every time I meet you, and best of luck at Roma.
See you in LA, I hope.
This has been a real thrill for me. I'll see you
in
really,
LA.
really soon.
If I don't go for pre-season, I will go to Coachella.